Did we do it?
We did it.
I think we did it. Should we explain to people that the reason we're saying I think we did it is that we're technically using new technology?
In the middle of Mercury retrograde.
Doesn't that make us really bold? I think that makes us very bold people.
Brave.
Brave.
Just literally standouts in the empire.
I agree. So as people are starting to join us, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are here. We're delighted that you're here. How are you doing today, Radley?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing what I love to do with one of my favorite people to do it with.
That's exactly how when I woke up today and I was getting ready for my day and I did my little meditation and my workout, I was like, you know what is so great about today is that I get to work with a friend who I adore and respect and play and teach and all good stuff.
And what's even best is that from my orientation of the screen, I can go like this and I'm actually pointing at you instead of away from you.
Exactly. Which makes me feel like we're actually spending time together because today, suddenly when you and I were texting, I thought February is feeling really, really familiar. It is 12 months to the day that we taught Angels and Auras in Seattle. How crazy is that?
It's totally crazy. I've never been so cold in my life.
Says the man who lives in the land of snow.
No, it was colder in Seattle than it was 17 degrees this morning when I let the dogs out. It was still colder in Seattle. But it's like, it's that humidity, it's the wetness.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
it was, we taught in Houston first though, right?
Austin, I think.
Austin.
Yeah. That was in November. And then
wasn't it? No, it was Austin. That's right. It was Austin.
That amazing crystal store.
Yes, and Mother's Cafe.
Yeah. Oh, right. The enchiladas. I remember. But it's so funny to me. That's one of those moments where, I've been doing spiritual work for 23 years now, and I just assume I'm used to those repetition sort of synchronicity messages. And the fact that we did not plan this to be 12 months to the date, but the fact that it's that amount of like that, you can't make that stuff up when that starts to happen. You just
can't, and it's like, synchronicities have been like, my life has been rife with them lately in good ways, in totally good ways to be of comfort, but that to me is the aspect of signs from the angels and from the divine that simply cannot be denied.
Yeah.
You can't make this up. The accountant in me wants to go, there was a 1 in 365 chances that we would do this.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing to me. And every time it delights me, it makes me happy. I feel like, it always brings me joy.
Absolutely. Always brings me joy. So and we're still letting people show up.
Right. Because we're using a new service. So people are joining us from different ways. So we want to make sure everybody sort of lines up together.
That's right. So, yes. So Mercury retrograde.
Well, so let's talk about that for a second, because you and I talked about that yesterday when we tried, so this is day 2 that we're trying new things together. We also did an Instagram live together. And you brought up something that I think is sort of controversial for people when it comes to Mercury retrograde. I'm on your side, but I have friends and colleagues and people that I adore who won't do anything during Mercury retrograde. No. Like they batten down the hatches. They hide out for a period of time. I don't necessarily see it that way. I've always seen it as like a speed bump. It's turbulence on a plane. It doesn't mean you can't do anything.
Right. I mean, it's like I tell people, I need to look this up, but it's like either Microsoft or Apple was founded during a Mercury retrograde.
Right.
And it's like, Mercury retrograde does not mean that we stop everything, because that means that we're going to stop everything 3 times a year for 4 weeks. And that's just not going to happen.
No, it's not.
It's crazy to think that, and what I think is just important for people to realize is that Mercury retrograde requires awareness of what we're doing. It requires us to stop and think, okay, am I sure? Did I cross every T? Did I dot every I? Did I read the fine print? Am I absolutely sure?
Right.
My sister's is right now trying to buy a car. She's just like my mother, and she can't make up her mind. But she's trying to buy a car, and it's like if she finds the perfect car, she should buy the car.
Agreed.
But read the fine print. Ask the owner for, show me all the maintenance that you've done. Show me when the last time it was that it was taken care of. Just be extra careful, because one of the things about retrogrades that people may not know, and maybe I'm going too far into the astrology hole here, but a retrograde is where a planet goes across a part of your chart, and then it goes back over that part of your chart, and then it goes forward again. So the retrograde is literally hitting that same part of your chart 3 times. So if you're just paying attention, you can look at the time that it went forward over that part of your chart and go, what happened?
Right.
Where were my challenges? What was difficult?
Because how did I feel is a big part of it. For me, astrologically, because I don't know if you know this about me, Bradley, but I tend to be a slightly sensitive individual. So, shocker of all shockers. So for me, astrology is like, oh, I'm going to feel sensitive that day. I'm going to feel practical that day. I'm going to feel like I need to be more grounded and more integrated that day. But it doesn't rule how I make decisions or change the way I function in my life, aside from being more aware that I might feel a specific way.
Right. And so if during that period you were feeling anxious and concerned, then when the retrograde comes back, you're likely to feel those same kind of emotions, but you can do it with awareness.
Right. And feel prepared rather than it's changing your trajectory.
And then when Mercury goes direct again, you can go, where were my bumps in the road? What caused those bumps in the road? Because here we go again.
Right.
So astrology is about being awake to what is happening. And you don't have to be an astrologer to do it. Just pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to what was a challenge, and expect that will happen a couple more times, and be aware of it. Because to me, this is a lot like what I call heads up cards in tarot. It's like,
wait. So explain the heads up card. I think I know what you're saying, but just explain that.
Yeah. So for example, a heads up card in tarot would be 5 of Fire. Okay. 5 of Fire is a card about conflict, about challenges, difficulties. And so we might pull that card and go, oh, this is what's coming for me. Except tarot just told you this is what's coming for you. It doesn't have to. Suddenly you have the power to negate that.
You can make a left turn.
You can go, oh, I see what's coming. I don't want it. And so I'm not.
That's not for me. That's not for me.
Right. I don't want it. I'm not going to do
it. So when you said 5 cards, what did you call them? 5 cards of pop-up cards? Alert cards?
I said call them heads up cards.
Heads up cards. Okay. I thought you meant when a card pops out of a deck.
No, those are jumping cards.
Okay.
And those can be, that can be the star, or that can be, 3 of air.
So when you're talking about the heads up cards, you're talking about these cards are like, guys, I want to get your attention. Here's something coming up.
Well, this is why I'm always telling people, it's like there are no bad cards in tarot. They're telling us what's coming, and we have free will. We can pick something else. We can sidestep the challenge. We can totally be like, it's like, oh, look what's coming. 10 of Fire is coming. Overwork and health problems. Ooh, I better take better care of myself.
Right. That's a week for self-care.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you bring up an interesting topic though, because when I sort of first delved into tarot and astrology and, any sort of form of divination, I really wanted to believe that my entire destiny was written in the stars, that everything was mapped out, and that if I could read it, and then more importantly, if I could read it for other people, I could help prevent from challenge or whatever. And I'm curious what you think about this after doing this for 23 years. I think that there are outlines and a theme and things that we're supposed to work on. And, like my relationship, I know that was predestined. But a lot of the little things, the nitty gritty of just sort of living your life, that's where free will comes in. Like, it's not all necessarily written in the stone. So cards, astrology, whatever it is, can prepare you for the hiccups or the energy that maybe isn't working for you right now. and then you can prepare, but it's not exactly preparing you for every single thing that's going to happen guaranteed.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's like you and David's paths crossing. It's like that was like a predestined kind of thing. How you handle the crossing,
Exactly.
how you handle the relationship moving forward, how you handle your challenges, that's all up to you in this thing. But it's like in the great video game analogy that I like to use for our existence, it's like it was always going to happen that David was going to walk in. It's like, but then what?
Right. Yeah. And
Right?
a lot of people, I think, when they meet their soulmate or when they have the job opportunity of their dream or when an opportunity presents themselves, they sort of relax into, oh, I don't have to do anything anymore because this was predestined. Yeah. He says with a giggle.
No, I don't think it works that way. No. No, you still have to stay awake. And so the other analogy that I love to use, as you know, is the giant maze, like in England where they have the hedgework mazes at the universities and stuff like that. And it's like the cards act like the divine, where it's like the cards are trying to say, that's not the direction towards joy. You need to turn around and go the other way. And so the cards will like say something like, hello, wrong direction.
Nice try.
Do you want to keep going this way? Because this way is 3 of air. Do you really want to go there? I'm kind of telling you don't. It's up to you. And eventually you're going to bump into awakening or transformation, life experience cards that like are big major arcana cards that represent the Hanged Man or the Tower in traditional tarot, where it's like, yeah, don't make me throw that bomb at you because I will. But we don't have to do that. You could just pay attention to, oh, bad direction. I'll go this way.
Do you know when I first bought my first deck of tarot cards, I actually took those cards out of the deck. I took out the Tower. I know. I took out the Tower, I took out the Devil, and I took out the Hangman, which is like so sweet and like unnecessary in hindsight. But I somehow interpreted those as there was some sort of a challenge or something wrong. And I had done a Facebook Live talking about Angel Wisdom Tarot because I love it and I love the imagery. And someone actually commented in there that she too had taken out certain cards that made her uncomfortable. And I love that you transform the images to be very uplifting. They're not, none of them are spooky in any way.
No, because it's like you can tell the story of the card without scaring people half to death.
Right.
You just can.
Say that again.
It's 2021. I mean, it's like
I don't need more anxiety.
Right. And we've all been incarnated 8,472 times now. It's like we don't need that.
Yeah, we can learn through joy.
We can learn through joy.
Speaking of learning through joy. You start. Sometimes it's like a little uncanny. I'm like, Bradley, get out of my brain. Just like a little, you start.
I was just gonna say, speaking of joy, you can bring joy into your life via color or via angels.
Yeah. I suppose we should welcome people to the Colors of Your Soul Masterclass. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being patient through our little technical brouhaha.
Right. So why don't we do like a quick little intro, because I know, well, I mean, everyone and their mother's heard about you, but we're going to give them a little refresher course. Why don't we do a little intro of your work and we'll get started.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, I'm Natalie. I'm the Tarot and Angel Boy. And so I'm a Hay House author. I've been with Hay House since 2012. I've been a little busy. I have created 7 decks, 3 books, 2 video courses, and a partridge in a pear tree. So I've been really busy. My newest tarot deck is also my proudest moment. It's called Angel Wisdom Tarot. I think this is like the best thing I've done. So
I agree.
I'm excited about it. And Um, and so I'm all about angels and tarot and mixing those two things together to erase the fear out of spirituality.
Yeah.
Here's my
And
elevator speech.
Radley's work is so, I just have to talk about you for a second first. Radley's work is so nuanced. Like, there's so many hidden messages in his deck, and he pours his soul into it, and he'll text me, and I know he's been working on it for hours, and everything in there has an intention. The way the leaf falls on the ground, the way the person's foot is positioned, like, it gives me goosebumps because every single thing is so detailed and so woven with love. And honestly, Radley, I think that's why your work is so successful, is it just jumps off the page of the card, it jumps off the page of the book. Like, your heart is just so sweet. And I say that as a friend, I say that as someone that respects you as a teacher, but you pour your heart and soul into everything. And it's really, really beautiful to observe and to learn from.
Thank you.
And guys, I'm Dougal Fraser. I'm also a Hay House author. I've written 2 books. My first book, but you knew that already, was with another publisher, but then I moved over to Hay House. Basically, I'm an intuitive, and the way that my ability works is that I see color and energy around people. Now, from a scientific perspective, people have said that I exhibit signs of synesthesia, which is when 2 senses in the brain overlap. So when I hear the sound of your voice, I see color either physically around you or actually see it in my mind's eye.
I hadn't heard your official diagnosis.
Yeah. Well, that's David was like, maybe there's something going on with you. But in the beginning, I sort of thought it was just a novelty, being able to see energy around people. I've also studied tarot. I used to be a massage therapist, but I talk too much, so I was sort of and what people would always ask me about is I would talk about the colors that I would see around people while they were speaking. And I started to learn that I was actually seeing auras, and those colors can tell me about your strengths, can tell me about your weaknesses, but more importantly, just like crystals or astrology, you can actually use color energy to change your life. And that's what I get excited about. And that's actually part of what Radley and I came together with this course. Is I had no idea how seamlessly the angelic world blended with the world of color energy. It's remarkable in my mind. It's kind of like, just upping the volume of both of them when they merge together. It's absolutely incredible. So a large part of what we're going to be talking about today is how seamlessly those worlds blend together and how it can help you on your spiritual journey, increasing your intuition, and just bring lots of fun and magic to your life.
So one of the things I know you wanted to talk about was the Pantone colors of the year.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Me too.
When those colors came out, I was like, really?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to me because we were talking about in the beginning of the call, ways that, the universe will just grab your attention. The fact that 12 months ago, we taught this in person. We hadn't even thought about that. I pulled a card today and I texted it to you from your deck. Like, this is so hysterical. It's so perfect for the day. And so for me, the universe obviously vibrates at a different frequency than we do. And they're always trying to sort of get our attention in ways that you would be surprised with. So Pantone every year lists their colors of the year that's used for marketing and advertising and all these cool things. And for 2021, they selected 2 colors that we wanted to talk about today.
Which is really fair.
Yeah, right. I don't think they've ever selected 2 before, which is interesting.
I think maybe they did it once before, maybe. I don't know, but
oh, did they?
Really rare.
Yeah.
For be 2.
And it's an interesting choice. They picked yellow and they picked gray,
right,
which is so appropriate to the energy on the planet right now. It was sort of mind-boggling to me. So today we thought we'd go through what those colors mean. So for me, with yellow is considered the color of higher intellect. It's also the universe's way of holding you accountable. If I see yellow in someone's aura, they were typically like a double major in school, or they excel at 2 things. Think of an accountant who also makes tarot cards.
Don't know that person.
It's a perfect idea. So it's also like a very suited color for you, Radley, because you are a very strong thinker. I think of you as a very conscious person. And it's just interesting to me because yellow is a very stimulating color. It makes people happy. That's why it's not great for like a bedroom. It's great for like a classroom. But I do think after 2020, everybody's like a little bit tired and there's a little bit of brain fog. So to bring in this alertness to like wake us up and say, you can do it, you can juggle things, was so interesting to me.
Yeah, and that color associates very much with my favorite archangel, Archangel Uriel, who's represented here on the card called the Sun. And Archangel Uriel is the archangel of brilliant ideas, epiphanies, and epiphanies that lead to the opportunity to transform our lives. And I think that if there is nothing on the planet right now that people want more than transformation. There's a sense of they want transformation to go back to the way things were. But I also think that one of the things about pandemic is that there are things that, you know what, I think I'll keep that.
Right.
Right. But it is this brilliant energy. It's this idea of, oh my goodness, the light bulb that goes on, because Uriel's name means the light of God.
So this is the moment. This is the angel moment. So when you talk about Uriel coming up with ideas, was that the word that you used? Yeah.
Epiphanies, yeah.
Epiphanies, right. And that's the whole point of yellow as well, is that if I see yellow in someone's aura, the reason they're a double major or excel at two things is they just don't have that self-doubt in their consciousness. Mm-hmm. If someone's exuding yellow energy, they're going to do it all. They're not going to question it. They completely cut through any negative thought and see an opportunity. And that was so much of 2020 for us is, the way we communicated, the way we traveled, the way we worked, everything was taken off the table and we had to think differently.
That's right. We did. And we're still having to think differently.
Yeah.
And we're still having to navigate our way through this entire new way of existing, albeit briefly. But, part of the epiphany, I think, in all of this, and the interesting thing that with Pantone picking this color too, is that we are having to constantly reinvent how we function through this.
Yeah.
And we're constantly being thrown curveballs, which requires brilliant thinking. It's like, if I had a nickel, I was actually thinking about this morning. If I had a nickel for every single time someone had said to me, well, surely this won't be happening come March. This is going to be totally over with. It's like, yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Oh, I did it too. I mean, some psychic. I could be like any day now.
Yeah, but it's like everything continues to evolve. Therefore, our ability we have to continue to figure out, and it is transformative. Yeah. It simply is by its very nature.
And I think there's sort of two ways to look at that. As a human being, I think a lot of us don't like change. We get used to our patterns. We get used to our comfort zones, which is completely normal. And what I love about yellow is it stimulates the brain. It stimulates different parts of your brain. The accountability part may remind you, hey, you loved, expressing your musical talent in the past. You haven't done that in 10 years. Yeah. Or the accountability may say, hey, pick up that book you were thinking about and start writing it, because for me, once I moved into, okay, this is the way things are going to be for a while and it's just unclear, what are the things that I've been holding back on? Why am I waiting to embrace joy? Why am I waiting to start something new? And so I believe that Uriel and the color yellow, if you invite these into your consciousness, if you invite them into your space, either physically or symbolically, it's going to wake you up and say, now is the time to live. We are not paused. Now is the time to live and step into your goals and desire.
Which so brings us back to that Mercury retrograde conversation.
Yeah.
It's like life cannot pause. I mean, we have to function through it. And as a quintuple Sagittarius, I eat change as a breakfast cereal. But for me, as a raging extrovert, it's like, this change, not so much.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to hug everybody.
Well, yeah. And it's funny because I'm an introvert in extrovert's clothing, and nobody ever believes me. So at first I was like, oh, we have to stay home and wear pajamas and cuddle. And I was like, sign me up. I'm ordering pajamas. I wanted fancy pajamas. But then I realized, I don't really want to live like that.
And that's so funny, because it's like one of the things that happened for us in this household during all of this was that it's like initially that's how I was, until it's like I got to this point where I need to start putting on real clothes.
Right. For
It's like,
you.
huh?
For you, it's a different thing. Like, it's not like we're dressing for dinner. It's not like we're dressing for that cruise we were supposed to go on. Remember that cruise? But it's now if I'm dressing, I'm literally dressing for me. Like, this feels good.
That's true.
It's a shift of energy. It's a shift of consciousness. Yeah.
It is.
Which sort of naturally brings us to gray and silver.
Gray.
So the second color for Pantone's color of the year was gray, which was interesting to me because a lot of people got, there were a lot of complaints about that. And so gray to me as a color energy expert is rooted in silver. And a lot of people ask me questions like, what's a great color for your bedroom? And they're always disappointed by this answer, but gray is a great color for your bedroom. It's the easiest color for the eye to absorb. It relaxes you. It's rooted in goddess energy of silver, which is all about taking care of yourself, sacred space, having your home feel good. And how interesting to me that when we're all spending a little bit more time home, yellow's waking our consciousness up, and gray and silver are inviting us to nest and make our space feel sacred. I haven't been on a plane in 12 months. I've never spent this much time at home. Our garden looks amazing. Because we have time for it.
Right. So that brings us to Archangel Haniel, who's here on the High Priestess card. And her color is the silvery light of the moon. And in fact, even so much to the point that she is prematurely gray. Right? She's prematurely gray. And so this is the archangel of divine psychic gifts, but also of femininity, of that whole thing that you were just talking about, of the aspects of ourselves that represent feminine energies. And so Haniel I love working with Haniel, not as much as Uriel, but don't But Haniel is just this like amazing energy that allows us to sort of like come to a place of peace within ourselves because we're aligned with the divine.
Yeah. And there's something about feminine energy that to me reads a little bit more like a whisper. If someone has big masculine energy, it's loud, it's a little flashy, like you can see it from across the room. But feminine energy is born first in the womb, right? It's when your mother's body is organically protecting you. You're in the incubation phase, you're developing, you're getting stronger, it's nurturing. And so if we think of sun as being that sort of golden ray, those yellow colors, the moon is watching over us at night. And sometimes we forget and maybe take it for granted a little bit. And so for it to be put out there, it's giving me goosebumps, for gray to be put out there, sort of celebrated of this is the time for us to nurture each other and listen. And I believe all of those things fine tune your intuition. Intuition is not this earthquake of energy for me. It's this silent whisper. And when I really listen to that whisper, that's when I can feel and see things.
Well, and it's like, don't you just ever wonder, wouldn't you like to have been in the boardroom at Pantone?
Right. Have the conversation going.
Were they like going, I was just reading about Dougal Fraser and he has such great ideas, and so there's the yellow of the sun and the silver of the moon, and doesn't that really make sense for where we're headed right now? Wouldn't that just be brilliant? Shouldn't we just let's just copy him?
Well, I would love if that were the case, but I think this is one of those moments, and I wanted to ask you this, especially when you're getting messages from angels, because anytime I've received a message, it has always been in the most unexpected way. I never would have thought Pantone's color of the year would be this like perfectly in alignment vibrational message. And that's sort of been my experience when there's been an angelic presence. It's been in a way more subtle thing than I expected, to where after the fact, I thought, wait a minute there. Like there was some divine intervention, something came through there. It's fascinating to me sort of what medium it will manifest in, because it's never what I expect it to be.
It isn't. And so it's like, I was absolutely not going to talk about this yet, but since you've brought it up, so we've been going and Dougal knows about this, but we've been going through some challenges in this household where my little boy, my Sheltie dog, Jace, had cancer.
Mm.
He no longer does. But
applause track, first of all, yay.
but from the standpoint of miracles from the angels and the way that they provide signs, on the same day that we got the call that Jace had cancer, I received a package that had come from England. Now, this package had been mailed last October. Okay, it was full of Halloween candy. And a little Halloween, I know, right? Throw that away. But and a little pumpkin teacup, from this thing. And all of that is irrelevant except the note that was inside. And the note inside said, thank you so much for all you do, blah, 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 blah. I've been through some challenges. My dogs have been in ill health, but suddenly they're making a miraculous recovery, and everybody is well. This on the day, a package sent in October, showing up, what is that even, 5 months later? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
With a specific message to me that I could rest assured that he was going to be okay.
And you were worked up. I mean, guys, in my next lifetime, I want to come back as one of Radley's dogs because he is a good dog parent. And obviously you were nervous. Who wouldn't be?
No, I was completely, utterly freaked out.
But I remember you saying when I got that message, and then it was just this more and more symbols and signs, you completely centered and grounded.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is how the angels can show up in your life. But one of the things so I know you say all the time that you love my meditations, but I love your meditations. I just do. Because when you are weaving color, which is what you do, when you're weaving color around people, it's like I think I want to say that my meditations may be more about the audio, whereas your meditations are so clearly about clairvoyance and about the visual.
Yeah.
And the very first time I ever sat in one of your meditations, it was just like, I was like blown away, and I'm not clairvoyant. And yet it's like the color, the light, the vibrancy of it. And, I just recently wrote in my blog that it's like one of the things that I've learned from you is that color is literally a resource. It's like fuel or fabric. It is something that is available to us that we aren't taught, initially. We aren't taught that you can, quote unquote, lean into turquoise, right, or lean into pink. We aren't taught that it's like we have this ability to bring this light, but it's like, you tend to start your meditations with this whole thing about this light that's over your head and stuff. And it's like, and the very first time you did it, it was just like, boom. Well, and that's what I think people need to understand is that, there's this angel thing, and it's equally as incredible, but you have this other resource, you have this other thing, and all it takes is your focus. All it takes is going inward and going, show me the color.
Well, I was a bad meditator. I started meditating when I was 8. My therapist, my first meditation was counting from 10 back to 1 to help me with my temper, which was, yeah. And I've done everything. I've done Sufi dancing. I've shaked in rooms with Osho followers, and I just could never get to that stillness. My brain, so if I'm supposed to focus on an angelic energy, or if I'm supposed to focus on a mantra, my brain would start questioning it. For me, there was something about color because it's so tangible. If you tell me to close my eyes and visualize yellow, it's not that I just see a ball of yellow light, but I see yellow flowers, and I see the way the sun would hit the ocean and be yellow, and the way it dapples through trees. And so my brain just goes on this journey, and I allow it. some meditation teachers are so strict and you have to be silent and void of thought. And I prefer to invite the brain, the heart, and our consciousness into the journey. And so if my brain wants to see twinkling yellow stars, it may do so. And that's actually going to help me move into a meditative state. So wearing the color, you're wearing yellow today helps us sort of weave it in. Yeah, it's perfect. Meditation can be challenging. We've got our iPhone, we're juggling our jobs, our careers, our families. So if you say to the brain, hey, for a few minutes, we're just going to focus on this color, and now we're even going to weave in this angelic energy to make it even stronger, the brain seems to settle into that and relax.
And and like you said, it really is amazing how well it blends with the archangels. There are exceptions. I'm going to just be honest with people. There's one exception in particular where it's just doesn't work. But
I don't remember that exception.
Green.
Okay. Right. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. But the rest do.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a masterclass someday on green.
Oh, good. Oh, just so you and I can work it out.
Yeah. And when you're talking about angels and colors, because I know like everybody has their body of work and their interpretation, are those colors, is it constantly repeated, or are there like differing opinions?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. So
sorry.
No, I wanted you that I'm seriously, genuinely, thank you for saying that, because there are differing opinions, because there are differing philosophies about archangels, and not just their colors, but even just the gender representations, because in truth, angels don't have genders, but they do tend to present themselves with a gender. Like Archangel Michael is just like also very masculine in his energy, but all very masculine in what he presents to the world. He's all about safety and protection and that sort of light and all that stuff. So that's a very masculine kind of energy. Haniel's a very feminine energy. She's the archangel of the moon and femininity and all that stuff. So there's a sense, but in truth, they don't really have genders. They just have gender presentations. And so,
do you think that's for human consciousness?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Because we so identify with what's your name, what do you do for a living, where are you from, where we so want it to be physical.
Right. Totally. It's purely for our edification, for our ability to be able to just see something and go, okay, I can interpret this through the human experience lens. And if it doesn't fit through that lens, then we get really like kind of bent out of shape.
Your aura is so like gold and yellow, right? Like as you were talking about that, right above you, I could see gold and yellow in that moment so clearly.
Yeah, teaching's my thing.
It is so your thing.
It's my thing. It's what I love. 9th house astrology, Sagittarius. Teach spirituality while you're at it.
Yeah.
But yes, there are varying interpretations of that. There's my interpretation, which is one of 15 archangels with specific colors and differences. I have a friend who I really love. She's the grande dame of angels in Europe. Her name is Diana Cooper. She's amazing. I love her. But she's more into the like 7 archangels, and the colors are not the same. Some of them are the same, some are different. The gender identifications are different. And, and it's like one of the things with Diana and I, because it's like there was a moment for us where it was like, are we going to be at odds? And we were never at odds. It was always like, no, there's that way, there's this way. And when I teach my students, I'm always saying intention, intention, intention. You like the Diana Cooper method? Go with it. I promise
100%.
It will 100% work for you.
Yeah.
You like the method that I am invested in, which is also the same method that Kyle Gray Scottish angel teacher is into. It's like, if you're into that methodology, that's great, because it is our intention to connect with the divine that matters.
Yeah. And it's season to taste. It's the same thing with color energy. You know, people will start to get really wrapped up in, well, if you're talking about a deep red, or you're talking about a crimson, or you're talking about a ruby. And my advice to you is not to overthink it. When we start overthinking it, we're sort of taking the spirituality from the process. And so if you come from a culture that has a strong connection to a color and you define it a certain way, by all means, use that. And that's one of the things that I love about when we're working together, is that we find these links. And then we've taken this class on the road before, and to see how other people weave it into their Reiki practice or their massage practice and make it their own has been like so incredible.
Well, and it has been, because one of the things that I love to see is where people do take things and make them their own.
Yeah.
Where they go, it's like, my things are angels and tarot, and kind of like with a side dish of astrology. I know enough about astrology to be dangerous, but it's just
to be dangerous or informative. Let's go with informative.
Anyway, but it's those are my things. But if someone else wants to go, I love Reiki, and this whole color thing from Dougal is powerful for me, and it fits so beautifully in with my Reiki practice. But also there's this like Radley thing. What's this archangel stuff? Wow, that's super cool too. And so they again, we're talking about weaving, but it's like they're creating their own sort of like energy, their own sort of like sense of, this is where I, as a child of the divine, which I think is such a powerful and important thing for people to always remember. You are a child of the divine.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for me as a child of the divine, this is what I do.
Right.
This is, because we are snowflakes. I know that's like a weird term in this world right now, but I still like snowflakes.
Well, the original origin of being a snowflake
is uniqueness.
Right.
And, even as an accountant, it's like, what my favorite flavor was diversity. It's like, when I would hire people, I would hire this guy who knew SEC stuff and this girl who knew squat about that, but she could wrap people around her little finger.
Right.
And I would hire this guy who was fantastic at the technical aspects of accounting, and I would make them work together and make them need each other.
Yeah. I think that's what spirituality is supposed to be. I mean, I have my Buddha here. I've got Amaji's feet behind me. I've got Ganesh. I've got, there's a Mother Mary in the room. Like, I've always just been interested in what faith is, what spirituality is, how they blend together so seamlessly, because I'm curious. Like, I just think if you take bits and pieces and then form it into your own belief system, that just makes the world so lovely and beautiful. And who doesn't want more of that?
Right. I mean, and am I saying it right if I say white light is made of a rainbow?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I always say to people is, you may, in a week from now, be like, well, it's yellow, well, it's gray. So whenever in doubt, you always go to white, because it encompasses all color. It's literally everything. So it's always at your fingertips. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we did this course together in Austin the first time, which was super fun. And you took me to your favorite vegetarian Mexican restaurant. I loved it. And then we taught it in Seattle, which was also super fun, but too cold for Radley. And now we're sort of presenting it to people online. Right. And do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, because we can't come to you.
No, we cannot. No, we cannot.
Come to you. And one of the things we talked about, yellow, was, epiphanies and being able to handle change and being able to come up with new ways of doing things. And so we love teaching together. We don't want to stop. We can't come to you. So here we are.
Right. Beaming from all over.
Right. Beaming all over. So the class is called Angels and Auras. And
the experience.
Angels and Auras. The experience.
Experience.
That sounds like something at Disney, right?
It does.
Yeah, I think
Which
that's
would be a fun ride.
I think it's a ride at Disney.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I want to go to Disney. Anyway, so it is an 8-lesson course. Okay. And so the first 4 lessons of the course have been pre-recorded. So you actually get those right away so that you can start studying, start learning about those things. Now, these are the first 4 lessons are very much about questioning. All right. So it's lesson 1 is called, Am I on the Right Path? Lesson 2, Am I living my truth? Lesson 3, How do I commit to self-love and acceptance? And lesson 4, How do I transform my life? So it's an inward journey, all right, of these 4 courses, 4 colors. I'm not telling you what the colors are, and I'm not telling you what the archangels are. All right? Not going to do it, all right? Because that's part of the fun of getting to experience what those are. Now, the next 4 lessons, and this starts on Wednesday, February 17th, and goes for the next 3 Wednesdays after that.
And we just have to have a shout out to Mooney, your marketing. This is such a beautiful page. And I always want people to know this. There's like a whole team of people that bring this stuff together. We do not do this alone. We have people that work in our office. I work with my husband and with Lynn and with Victoria, and you have your team. And Mooney has done such a beautiful job here. It's so pretty. I just have to say that.
I don't know what I would do.
It's so pretty.
It's like Mooney and Wendy and Sherry and Bridget are just like the bomb.
Yeah.
The total bomb. And so, but the next 4 lessons are about the outward search. So we go from the inward to the outward, the search for joy, the search for clarity and spirituality, the search for forgiveness, and the search for enlightenment. Now, these 4 classes are live classes that you will be joining with Dougal and I, so that we can have the super exciting aspect of getting to play with you personally.
Yeah.
And so, and again, we will not tell you. I will tell you that there is a Facebook group, okay, that Dougal and his husband manage, that I'm a part of too. And it's like, this is where people get all whacked out going, I bet it's yellow. No, it's orange. Right.
Sometimes I would turn my phone on in the morning and I would be like, this room is active.
Hopping.
It was really fun.
And hopping through the rainbow. Right.
Yeah.
They're trying with all their might to figure out and guess what the next color is going to be.
Yeah.
And sometimes they haven't figured out. I am very mischievous. So it is totally not beyond me to show up for that class with a green sequin jacket, and right before when everybody's going, oh my goodness, it's green, I yank it off and I'm wearing a red shirt.
Yeah, I think it's more expected at this point, Radley. Radley's wardrobe game. And just to let people know, also, if they want to sign up, they can go to radleyvalentine.com/auras, I believe.
That is exactly right.
But Radley blows me out of the water wardrobe style. I mean, every time I'm like, how do you have that? It's very impressive. So you come for this clothing just alone, like that, you're getting your money's worth already.
So it's this opportunity for you to enjoy these 4 video lessons right up front, then to join us week by week by week over the next 4 weeks, February 17th, the 24th, March 3rd, March 10th, and to come play with us, be live with us, 90 minutes each week, and to learn about color, learn about archangels, learn about how these 2 things weave together, and get to experience these things in a way that is palpable in a way that allows you to be able to use these things in the real world. Now, I like to joke that, it's like the Dougal and Radley show is a lot of fun. It's second only to Carol Burnett's show. And it has a theme song that goes, the Dougal and Radley show.
Top hats have got to happen. It's
So we're going to laugh. It's just our nature. So we're going to laugh, but we're going to teach too.
Yeah.
And we're going to have meditations where there's going to be poignancy to this. You are going to experience the emotion, the feelings, the sense of the presence of the color and the sense of the presence of the angels as well.
There is something sort of, and just FYI for everyone behind the scenes, I actually can't see questions. I've tried to refresh a few times, but I was going to try and do that, but I can't see that. But there is something interesting about when we do just immediately start teaching together. When we were scrolling through, there's that image of the Facebook Live we did, and I'm laughing because as it was 3, 2, 1, I mean, I can't remember what you said beforehand, but we always giggle. And afterwards, David was like, I know you guys, but even when I started watching it, he was like, I feel better. There's something about, I used to always think I was like too silly for, that's the picture right there. I mean, I do remember what you said. We're not going to say it now. We had like 3 seconds to go and he cracks this joke that could have been live. It was very, so you got me. But I used to work with spiritual teachers where we had to be serious and I'd get in trouble if I said the wrong thing and I'd get scolded. But when you and I work together, it's literally like we're just talking on the phone, and the freedom to be silly and the freedom to ask questions and the freedom to say, whoops, I forgot a note and throw it to you is one of my absolute favorite things of working together. It's just fun.
Well, for sure. I mean, it's truthful. And I personally believe that laughter and joy is the truest form of connection with the divine.
Yeah.
It's the poignancy is powerful and it's important. And, the poignancy of meeting my guardian angels, the poignancy of, the absolute angel bumps is what I call them. It's like the angel bump experience of getting a coffee cup 5 months too late so that my angels will tell me that my little boy is going to be okay.
Incredible.
Things are powerful and important. They matter.
Yeah.
But laughter and joy is the nature of the divine. It is the very nature of what divine is.
Yeah.
And when we experience that, we connect ourselves to it.
I agree. And we carry it with us. There's been a lot going on. And so part of what I sort of love about this program is it comes with a lot. It's not just the pre-recorded classes and the live classes, but there's PDFs of every lesson. There's energy affirming guided meditations. There's the bonus. So we did a bonus class one night too, where we just took questions and it was sort of this round robin, just like very similar to what you're watching right now. Right. And it's fun.
Yeah, it was kooky.
And also, people also have the chance to get readings from us live, which I'm not really doing many sessions right now because I don't have the time for it. Unfortunately, Hay House Radio isn't available anymore. We were both on Hay House Radio, so that was an option for people to call in live. But tandem readings, I mean, you want to talk about fun. I thoroughly enjoy that when we do that.
And they're incredible. They're amazing.
Yeah.
It's like it's me throwing cards and you doing aura readings, and that it's just they're always the same.
Yeah.
So, so because you're watching, we're doing a deal. So I'm super glad you're here. So this class is, going to be like $297. But because you're here right now, it's $97. So you're saving $200. Right. So, and it is my understanding, Mooney, that there's isn't there like a what do you call it?
Expiration?
No.
Coupon code.
There is a coupon code. What am I trying to say? There's like you can pay for this along the way.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Isn't that right, Mooney? Isn't there I think that's right. Noonie. Not yet. Never mind. I thought I read that in the little thing, but I guess
part of that I think was at the $297 price, but we're doing $97. This is a like very special, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and it's like it's just our way of like saying it's like we could charge more, but we don't want to.
Well, and it's also one of the joys of teaching online. I mean, I traveled, I think I estimated, I averaged like 70,000 miles a year of traveling.
Yeah,
and in the past 12 months, I have not. And that actually, what it opened up for me, going back to sort of yellow and thinking differently, is that when you travel, you have to charge more because we're flying in hotels in the space, and sometimes you're partnering with a company. But because we're doing it live right now, our overhead is completely different. So we get to give it to people at a much more approachable price, something that's more palatable for people. So that's one of sort of the great joys that I've found in the past year is I can completely change my price point to have fun and connect with people, and it's a comfortable price.
Right, because it's like I'd give everything away for free if I could.
I know, Radley. This is something we've worked on together. Yeah.
Yes, with me. We've been working on this for me. But it's like I also like eating.
Right.
Right. So it's like when we can like do something and we put it together and we go, well, this is like $297, and then we go, let's cut off 200. Then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I agree. And it's fun. I mean, the feedback that we got the first time we taught it in Austin, well, really it started on Hay House Radio. I think you invited me to be on your show, and we did a few readings together, and you'd be like, that's so funny, because the angel that's coming in would be alignment with the color. And then we decided to teach it in person, and just hearing people's feedback of that it's fun and it's enough information and you can use it. It's like the perfect recipe. It just comes together quite naturally.
Well, and it's like I actually talked about this in my blog. It's like my favorite kind of friends are instant friends.
Yeah. And that was such a sweet blog.
we were instant friends.
But wait, I have to say why though, because this does not happen. I want to say this politely. This does not always happen in the spiritual world. But I got onto Hay House Radio and I was so excited and I was so nervous because I respect everyone that was on there. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not worthy. And Bradley, we had not met before. He reached out and said, I want to welcome you to Hay House Radio. And I remember being like, who does it? It was so kind. And from that moment of extending energy, which kind of brings me back to the person that sent you the box with the note. Like sometimes we hesitate to express our joy and to connect with people and step out of our comfort zone, but we really are conduits of energy. So when Radley reached out to me to make me feel safe, to make me feel welcome, and to see what friendship came from that. I mean, I'm a shy person, so that's hard for me. And the fact that you did that meant so, so much to me and turned into one of the most important friendships in my life. We text each other all the time. Yeah. And it was from your kindness, really.
No, I say this all the time. I talk to you second to Lee. It's right. Like I talk to my husband the most. I talk to you second most, and who knew? But one of the things that I have totally come to the awareness of is that instant friends, for me and in this incarnation, are the ones that are the most powerful. It's the ones that have this past life connection where it's like, okay, here we go. This one I'm keeping and we're good.
Right.
And so, and these are the kinds of things that we also talk about in the series, because the searching for what is important to us, the searching for what makes us joy, the searching for joy, searching for clarity, searching for forgiveness, and searching for enlightenment. These are the kinds of things that show up when we're welcome. The whole concept of searching for what matters to us, we have the ability to bring it into our lives. Yeah. And so if you want to find out more about this, you can go to radleyvalentine.com/auras, AURAS, okay? radleyvalentine.com/auras. And you can find out all the more you want about the class. You can read all of the full details about the classes that we're going to be presenting in the 8 lessons. Again, 8 lessons. All right. So not just 4, but 8. When we've taught this in the past, it's been 4.
Right.
So we've doubled up.
Yeah. And maybe we should do a quick review of what we taught today, because I want people to remember it and sort of have information they can use. So today we talked about 2 really powerful colors, right? We talked about yellow, which is the universe's way of stimulating your mind, having you think differently. It's also the universe reminding you that you can juggle multiple things in your life. So now is the time to pick up the book that you've been thinking about, to, you know, reach out to your kids, your family, if you haven't spoken in a while, to take up a new hobby, but to embrace all different parts of yourself. The silver energy, of course, is about goddess energy. It's about your intuition leading you to all that you need and making your space sacred and feeling good so that you can hear and feel your intuition. And then Radley, of course, has the angel components.
Right, and I am. And so it's like Uriel and Haniel. And so you get to, so in this 8-lesson series, it's like, I don't know what colors you'll find. Will you find blue?
Right.
Will you find purple? Could there be pink? I don't know. There won't be green.
No, well, I mean, I think we should work on that.
We need to like have a chat.
Right.
Because there's got to be a reason why that one doesn't work.
I agree.
There has to be a reason. You know, could it be orange? I don't know.
Might be.
Could it be turquoise? I don't
Could
know.
be.
These are colors. Who knows what colors are going to come in? But it's like, if you feel drawn to these particular colors, there is a reason.
Yeah.
Your favorite color is not orange for no reason.
And you know, you can ask that question to any single person on the planet and they will have an answer. It's one of the things I love about color energy. You can ask some people, like, what's your rising sign? And they're like, I don't even know what a rising sign is. That's a little bit of a deeper study. But even if you've never meditated, you've never heard of the word chakra, if I say to someone, what's your favorite color? And more importantly, what color don't you like? Because that actually gives me a lot of information too. There's always an answer and information will roll out from that.
What color don't I like? You know, I think the color I like least maybe is brown. What does that mean?
So any earth tone, and people ask me this question all the time, they'll joke with me and be like, oh, do you see brown in my aura? As if it's a bad thing. All color has wisdom. All color has power. All color has value. And brown, earth tones in general, are about grounding. So if you've been...
That makes sense. I don't like to be grounded.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling overwhelmed, this is why in big cities, like in New York or Tokyo or big cities around the world, they will wear earth tones because they're pulling their energy in. They don't want to feel the energy of other people. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, earth tones are so good for grounding. Or go outside and touch the bark of a tree, that radiant ground that just brings you into your body. Lots of spiritual people don't like to be grounded. I don't either. But earth tones have taught me to really welcome and celebrate being in my body, integrating the energy, feeling it, and I don't have to always be floating up there like Chrissy Snow.
So let's talk about colors that change.
Yeah.
Because through my life, blue was my favorite color. Green was my favorite color. Turquoise was my favorite color. Orange is my current favorite color.
Color cycles.
Yeah, colors are changing.
It's totally color cycles. When we moved from New York to LA, I became obsessed with orange. Orange throw pillows, orange comforter. Like, I became obsessed with it and I felt out of balance. I mean, Los Angeles, I know, is not like, farmland, but moving from Manhattan, I was like, it's so quiet. So I just needed to feel balanced. So you will go through cycles of colors that you really resonate with, and then something new will come in. For me, like, red makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's a very vulnerable color. What's odd is that when I wear it, I get so many compliments about it, but I like to sort of disappear. That's the introvert in me. So when I wear red, it tends to sort of open up my heart and connect me with other people. So it just makes me like a little nervous, but it's good for vulnerability.
Okay. So what is orange?
I'm sorry. Orange is the color of balance. So it's the combination of psychology and spirituality. It sets your energy into balance. I tend to see it around like counselors or therapists helping other people move into an emotional state of balance. So if you're feeling out of sorts, orange is a really good color to just bring you into unity.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense because I'm obsessed. So once again, this is an 8-lesson course. So the first 4 lessons are about the inward questioning. Am I on the right path? Am I living my truth? And how do I find self-love and acceptance? And how do I create transformation? And the next 4, which are the live courses that start February 17th, is the outward search, the search for joy, the search for clarity and spirituality, the search for forgiveness, the search for enlightenment. Again, you can find out all about this by going to radleyvalentine.com/auras. This is a class that we think, when we have all of the stuff thrown together, would cost about $297. We're slashing $200 off of that, so it's $97. That is a temporary deal. Okay, come February 17th, that deal will go away. So it's like, you can let your wheels spin if you want, but you might want to just grab it and be set and get those first 4 courses, first 4 lessons right away, so that you can start learning, get ready for what Radley and Dougal show has to say, be ready for the outward search.
Which I wanted to mention with the outward search, I'm sure people can relate to this, but so much of 2020 was like this brain fog, right? All of this information being inundated with new energies, new ways of living. And so when we do these live lessons this year about the search, this is about empowering you to come out of the fog, because we've all been feeling that way. So when Radley and I sat down to talk about these colors, these angels, and why we were doing it, this is about having a fresh start. I'm getting angel bugs. This is about having like a fresh start and empowering yourself, because we can do it together. Like, we can release things that aren't working for us. We can transform our energy. So I kind of want people to see this searching component to the class right now as really stepping into your power, really stepping into your destiny. And there's noise on the planet, I get it. But when we all merge together with this particular vibration and this particular style of teaching, this is when you have the tools to really empower and change your life.
Well, and I think what you're saying is so important, because it's like 2020, we were just hibernating, we were hiding, we were locked inside. Somebody show me a hand of anybody who wants 2021 to be like that. We want out. Right? We want out. And so it's like the colors that we have chosen for 2021, we chose on purpose for this whole outward motion of enough, let me out. And so that outward motion.
I really do feel like there's a renaissance period that's going to be born out of what we're going through right now. I know it's murky, and I know in the middle of it, it can be hard to see that, but poetry's coming back into the mainframe. It's a national topic, an international topic. All of the jewel tones you're seeing, right? Like, people want to hear music, they want to connect, and this is a great way to prepave the path for all of that.
Absolutely. So find out more about it, www.radleyvalentine.com/auras.
That was very QVC. I liked that of you. That was loved it.
Because I am totally obsessed with QVC. I love QVC. It's mostly about background noise, and it's only if it's about food. I don't want to watch the women's luggage part. I'm only interested in Alberti Papage and Rachel Maddow. Rachel, I forget her last name. It was showing me food.
You have to read the book Television. It's really, it's a hysterical novel about a online shopping host. It's really funny. It's a light read, but you should check it out. It's funny.
I'm totally obsessed with QVC. That's why he's saying that. So radleyvalentine.com/auras. Check it out. Come join us. Come play. Be a part of the Radley and Dougal show, or the Dougal and Radley show, whichever way you want to do it. I don't care. Just
well, today was fun.
It was fun.
It was super fun. And we did it. New technology. It all worked clearly.
Absolutely. It worked. Even in Mercury retrograde.
See, we're a testament. You can still move forward during Mercury retrograde.
You can. All right. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We enjoyed it.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Do we click off?
New technology. I don't know. Probably. Maybe
Okay. Well, but okay, Wonder Twin Powers at the same time. Ready?
3, 2, 1, go.